Hello, we are in our inaugural episode of a new series we're going to run called The Worst Part. And today's victim is...
Xmen Apocalypse.
Oy vey. You go, Eric. You start.
Oh, God. Well, for me, the absolute worst part of it for me, among so many others, was what they did to Caliban. Oh, my God. Especially after Logan did a good job with him, and you're kidding me. And he was so out of context in that whole situation, whatever. Didn't dig it at all. Tom?
All right. Mine, beyond the fact that the person playing Psylocke was too old, that's right, I'm an ageist, and she didn't look the part, and worse than that, she had very few lines. What, were they paying her by the syllable?
She was just like eye candy.
And she wasn't even eye candy.
And was the only one, and the only one in the movie that was in like a comic accurate outfit.
Yeah.
She looked just like the way they drew her in the comics, and they didn't like...
Well, not the way Jim Lee drew her, but like Mark Silvestri drew her.
Well, the costume did.
Yeah.
She didn't so much.
Yeah, well, they didn't have that dental floss up the ass. So anyway,
she was just there to be one of the horsemen. Yeah.
So anyway, then the other problem I had was really like what they did with Nightcrawler in the beginning of the movie, where they're in that kind of like Fight Club sort of horse shit that everybody was doing after Fight Club, which was retarded. I actually didn't mind how they worked Archangel in. I don't like that Poe Dameron was yet again this character, the Apocalypse. He didn't play it wrong. I'm just tired of seeing him in everything. And now he's Moon Knight, and like...
Oh, he did a good job, though, in Moon Knight.
But,
he did.
But not, yeah.
Much as you might be tired of seeing him in things,
he was also
he did a good job.
He was also in that movie with the sex robot. But anyway, and I had a problem because I like Egypt and I know about all the Marvel stuff. They could have had some kind of nods or winks to Rama Tut, something, or the Celestials. I know the legalisms,
the licenses to
but I don't give a ferret's fuck.
Right.
You know, just figure it out.
They could have hinted at it in a way that wouldn't have been a conflict of interest.
Exactly. And then I'm just tired of seeing all the boy toys of Bryan Singer get movie parts. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I took issue also with just the whole different iterations of the characters. The teenage Nightcrawler, the teenage Mohawk Storm.
Especially since the Nightcrawler in X2 was so great.
Yeah. And was never really fond or a big fan of Alan Cumming, but he did a good job in that. Yeah.
Wow, really? I thought he was great, and then hitting that other.
I liked him in Spy Kids. He was great in Spy Kids.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know, but still,
it's all right.
It's a guilty pleasure. I watch it with my kids. Anyway,
it happens. Yeah. So
no, the Spy Kids movies were fun. I dug them. Anyway, that's beside the point.
It had, because all the Egyptian stuff was super cool, and all the electrical and super scientific stuff, and it was really interesting. And then they could have,
and it was consistent with Apocalypse's story and all. He's the world's oldest mutant. He's the first.
It would have been nice to see Ozymandias, his faithful guard, which he should have been still alive. But anyway, I didn't like how Apocalypse could like put people into walls. What the hell is that all about? And that poor Arab guy with his mouth open.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so it was almost there because I like Apocalypse, although he's never actually been done right. I think the best he's done is in the cartoon.
Yeah.
And that's sad because we had the Age of Apocalypse in the comics, and it was it included too much and then not enough as well. Like he just became a mustache twirling villain. I'm in charge of the earth. Well, oh jeez. Anyway, so I wanted to see it because I have so many comic book friends who vehemently hate that movie. Hate with the passion of like 10 young boys or something. And they just, and I'm like, well, what's wrong with it?
Well, I gotta tell you, the first time I sat through it, I didn't get through the whole movie. I lost interest in it about halfway through and didn't finish it. And when you and I sat through it together, it was the first time I'd actually seen the whole movie.
Yeah.
Because
And it didn't help, did it?
No.
And the ending fight was anticlimactic, and it just lacking.
Yeah, and it was a shame because with all the resources they had and the budget and whatever else, they could have really
could have knocked it out of the park.
Really could have. It could have been a Days of Future Past.
Which it should have been. Because the Days of Future Past movie, I thought, well, there was
that was one of the best X-Men films.
Yes.
You know, and I'm not going to suffer through the Dark Phoenix because I've heard it's just not worth it, and I have no opinion about it, but I've heard nothing but negative about it from people that I do, know personally and respect their opinion. Don't bother with it, so I'm not going to. But yeah, Age of Apocalypse, the movie was just, oh gosh, there's so much
X-Men
about
Apocalypse.
it. Yeah, the Xmen Apocalypse.
Because the comic book was anticlimactic too.
It just like you said, it missed on so many different levels.
But then there were so many parts that were right, and this could actually be good.
Yeah,
like okay,
it could have been, and it should have been, and just
like the whole thing with Eric's kid, that could have been a whole different movie. That should have been a whole different movie.
Yeah,
really should have.
Yeah,
a standalone Magneto movie. Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness, really? Yeah, no, can't do that. It's too risky.
Oy.
Logan was risky, and look what they did with it. Oh my God,
right?
It was so good.
But we aren't executives,
right?
Or, have toy boys in the back room or all that jazz in Hollywood. So, it is what it is. So, it's a confirmed no-go. If you haven't seen it, don't worry about it. You're not missing anything.
You're not missing anything, really, and unless you really want to see it for yourself and
suffer through it.
And see if you agree or disagree with us about what the worst parts of it actually were. For me, Caliban, and even just the younger versions of it just makes it so vague and ambiguous when it's supposed to take place. And the membership of the X-Men was all weird and out of context.
And they killed Havoc.
And they killed Havoc.
What the
really?
fuck?
Yes. I forgot. They killed Havoc.
Jesus, Mother Mary and Joseph.
I'm going to say Angel has yet to have a decent treatment in any of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
The time we got to see him in the first one, they clipped his wings before you even get to see him and know who he was. And he's Warren Worthington III. He's one of the richest people, like Forbes magazine, 400 family, whatever. And he's in a cage fight in the Apocalypse movie, and before you even know it or get to know him, he's been transformed into Archangel.
He just lets some old blue man subvert his body. Hey, no judgments. That's between you and your living God.
So that is something that is Angel's just had a bad deal all around in the movies, and we haven't really gotten any decent treatment of him, and I'm hoping that the MCU will give him one.
All right. Like, share, and subscribe.